couple of episodes ago, right, I was talking about Amanda Seales. It was on the heels of her talking about how she appreciated her fans because without them, but then also bemoaning the fact that she wasn't really accepted, right? Or people wasn't fucking with her, or there were articles that were being written about her, right? And so, the name of it was like Amanda Seales is the poster child for Black women who lack accountability. Never in my wildest dreams did I think that only a couple of weeks later, she would be on Club Shay talking about autism, self-diagnosed, and Lexapro that she was driven to, right? I never in my wildest dreams thought that someone would take it that far to avoid accountability. Welcome to Said Nicely, and maybe this episode might be said not so nicely, right? Appreciate y'all for tapping in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow at the BLC Pod, man. We coming back with the full, fam and all that good stuff. So for right now, you kind of stuck with me with Said Nicely. But first and foremost, we got to preface all this by saying that all of this is fucking content. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's out here producing content, fake beef, real beef, whatever. People are having their opinions. That is the world that we live in, right? Even someone like me, who am I? I'm a nobody, right? But I could be on this mic in front of this camera talking to y'all. Y'all can fuck with it. Y'all can not fuck with it. Only difference between me and y'all really is I did a little bit more to y'all in terms of putting myself in a position to be in front of y'all, right? Cool. And with that comes responsibility, or with that comes people responding or not agreeing with you, right? It's the gig, I guess, right? Or it's what you kind of sign up for. So that's like where I'm coming from, like low key, right? Just on some real shit. Because when you hear people bitching and moaning or complaining or always pointing out how they're being left out, like that's not by accident, right? And that's how we got here. You know what I'm saying? At least for me, because I wasn't really paying attention to all that. Every time that I've heard of Amanda Seales is because she was complaining about how somebody did her wrong. I swear to God. You know what I'm saying? I didn't go looking for that. That wasn't part of my algorithms. You know what I'm saying? It just was what it was, right? So I did my little piece and people were responding, and it was cute because clearly people respond with their emotional ears. They don't really hear. Right? If somebody says, I don't understand why people don't like me, or something to that effect, or acts oblivious to, or does not take any accountability for, that is a lack of empathy by definition.
See, the issue with you people is that y'all don't understand what empathy is. Empathy is understanding somebody else's feelings, correct? Okay, that does not mean that you have to align with their feelings. That does not mean that you have to agree with their feelings.
Nobody said you had to agree, but if you out of your own mouth say, I don't understand a thing, that's telling me that you lack the ability to comprehend or to see things from another person's perspective, et cetera, right? Or my favorite one was, you must not like Black women. You know what I'm saying? I must not like Black women. And what was crazy was Said Nicely was designed to be kind of chill. Like, I ain't trying to go at nobody's neck, right? I ain't on nobody's platform calling other niggas a corny ass nigga type of shit. I ain't doing that. I'm having a very mild, but a thoughtful, hopefully thought-provoking critique of a situation, right? But y'all take that shit and run with it. So that tells me y'all ain't listening with y'all logical ears or like your understanding ears. Y'all are listening with y'all emotional ears. You know what I'm saying? Which is cool too. Right? But y'all literally be putting words in people's mouths that people didn't say. This has nothing to do with not liking Black women or loving Black women. Anybody who knows me, if there was a sin for me to have had, is that I love Black women too much. You know what I'm saying? Women in general, but Black women, man, you already know what it is. You know what I'm saying? To all the girls I've loved before. But that's neither here nor there. What's crazy is, right, in all sincerity, is that I rarely use this word in terms of it being dangerous. But this is not even really so much about Amanda. I'm going to use Amanda to prove the point, kind of. But what was dangerous about it was all the women in the comment sections who don't really take the time to do like any investigation and shit, right? Or all the people who have a certain level of cognitive dissonance because they resonate, with the real issues that she touches on, right? Like, it is a real issue for Black women in terms of anger and perception and navigating and people who are exceptional being misunderstood. Like, all those things are legit. But being an asshole doesn't necessarily have anything to do with that, right? There are plenty of people out here who have enough challenges without, on top of that, being an asshole. You know what I'm saying? Being someone who thinks they're superior, or being someone who feels like they can move through the world without consequences. There's certain characteristics for certain behaviors that's not really about autism. There's an otherism, right, that you can characterize certain behaviors, right? Especially when you talk about lack of empathy. And the reason why I bring up empathy is because I think when you're having a conversation with somebody, right? So let's say, for example, you're talking to Shannon. Shannon is a man in his 50s, 60s, or whatever. He comes from a different background. So while he's trying to have the conversation from his perspective, I don't think anybody here thinks that Shannon came out there with some type of motive to poo-poo on her, right? He tries to placate everybody who comes on his show. So, but he also has to try to give some feedback or some pushback, which was some of the pushback he's gotten before. So I think what he was really getting at was everything is not just about racism and sexism. It could have been an explanation in terms of the fact that grown people don't like young people cutting them the fuck off, right? Now, empathy in terms of understanding those things, right? Not just so much about what he's saying in the moment, but kind of like understanding where he's coming from, the job that he has to do, right? And the intention that he has for trying to make his platform continue to grow, et cetera, et cetera. So it's not like he didn't come out there trying to give you an opportunity to talk your talk, right? But where he found an opportunity to kind of push back a little bit, because the truth is, girl, everything is not racism and sexism. Right? Like in that particular example, it could have just simply been that older folks don't appreciate younger people trying to show them up when they're at their job, right? That shit is fucking like, you're a smart ass. Like, it's just disruptive. You know, you lend for kids who may not be as smart as you to do or move in a similar way, right? And I still have a job. I have other parents to be accountable for, right? There's a myriad of other reasons, right? But if everything is in the prism of racism, sexism, and there's no room for humanity, for people to just be themselves or to be going through the human experience, it sets the tone that like everything has to be that victim mindset for sure. This person didn't let me in. This person couldn't understand I was trying to do this. Like, if you look at all the fucking different jobs and stops and posts that she's been from The Real, right? She wasn't even included on like the little homage and shit, right? But okay, that's a different group of people. Oh, well, Issa's fucked up too, right? And the thing that bothers me a little bit about the Issa thing is because in understanding Issa's story, like Shorty really got it out of the mud low key, like transformed herself a little bit. She was not phenotypically or whatever ickly that you want to use, and she still found a way to be successful. Meanwhile, a person who has had every single opportunity, almost at every single stop in almost every single genre or media, right? Right? But then in every single step along the way, everybody was the problem. And y'all don't see a problem with that.